You are listening to a Dynamic Works Productions podcast. This show is available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio Network, and many, many more podcast services around the world. You can find all our content, music, videos, books, podcasts, and more on our website, www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Have questions, comments, or concerns for us? Head on over to the social tab on www.dynamicworksproductions.com if you'd like to talk to us. Now, on with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever The Fork in Your Ear podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tim K.A. Trotter. Joining me today is...
Damian Newman.
Mike List.
Fantastic. Welcome, guys. How y'all doing?
What's going on? Good. How you guys doing?
What's going on?
So this is a brand new podcast from Dynamic Works Productions. I don't even know which podcast this is that I've created. Number at this point, 10, 12, something like that.
Up there.
Yeah. This is not your everyday podcast. We're not tied to a specific subject, medium, corporation, or what have you. We aim to be a ever-evolving weekly topical podcast about various things in life and games and music, movies, TV, technology, wacky shit on the internet, or life things that happen to come up. As I mentioned before, I'm the host, creator, Tim K.A. Trotter, over at www.dynamicworksproductions.com. We've been doing podcasts for like 10, 12 years, something like that, and have slowly branched out into music and audiobooks and books themselves. I myself am an author. I wrote a book called The Citadel Arrival, which is available right now on Amazon Kindle and iTunes iBookstore for only $2.99. So check it out, buy a book, support this show. Free samples are available on each respective market. I also host a weekly podcast called Rising Tide, a Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. And this podcast, ironically, was formerly with this very crew today. It formerly was Agents of the Nine, a Destiny podcast. So this sort of rose from the ashes of that podcast when at least most of us here got a little tired of Destiny shit. But someone here who wasn't tired of Destiny shit, so he moved on. He evolved. He digivolved, as it were. And why don't you tell us about those evolutions there, Mike?
I'm Mike List. Like Tim said, I started out on Agents of the Nine, a Destiny podcast. I think episode 5 was when you guys did my interview podcast type thing. I've been on the Marvel Cinematic Universe, The Rising Tide. That's also on Dynamic Works Productions. And after Dame and Tim kind of fell off of the Destiny train, I stayed on, and I'm now the conductor of my own train. It's the RNGcast. You can just find us on Stitcher, iTunes, and I believe we're on Google Play now. And all you gotta do is type in the RNGcast, all one word, the RNGcast, and we're right there. Or you can look up Destiny, RNG, gaming, all of those keywords. And we do a weekly podcast, me and a couple buddies of mine, and we just talk real about the game. We all love the game, and that's what it's about.
Nice. So check out that stuff, folks, if you're interested in more specific podcasts. Damian, what about yourself, good sir?
I've been a little around here and there. I guess this is my 4th or 5th podcast I've been on. So I've been podcasting for 3 years. It'll be 3 years in August.
Wow.
3 years in August. So,
that's crazy. How time flies, man.
Time flies. I did my first podcast like right after Gamescom. So yeah, August will be 3 years. So game, stream, watch comic book movies, Marvel, DC, as I try to play for them in the cinematic field, because they just don't have it together. God bless them though. But
fair enough.
Yeah, man, I do a little bit of everything. Do music producing, do a lot of work behind the scenes. So sometimes that keeps me very, very busy. Like what Mike said, I try to play. Well, I'm here and there with Destiny. I used to do a lot of PvP on Destiny. Then I just got tired of the same old. So ventured off to other games, but I come back here and there. And yeah, that's about it. That's the thing about sums me up.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, alrighty. Let's get into our first topic of this brand new podcast we're pushing out of the womb into the world here. Our first topic is going to be about video gaming, mostly because the Entertainment Electronics Expo, colloquially known as E3, is happening tomorrow as of the recording of this podcast, and about a bazillion things related to Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, and everything in that sort of electronic medium will be, like, all the new stuff will be revealed and stuff. It's basically the annual press conference where everybody talks about their new shit, their new technologies, all of the new stuff that's going on in the world. And so speaking of that, I believe, Damian, you wanted to do sort of what each of us here on the show could potentially predict as occurring at this epic E3 thing that's happening tomorrow.
Right.
So why don't you kick us off there, Dame?
So yeah, I mean, it's always fun to do E3 predictions. It's always fun when E3 comes around. Granted, like this year is maybe losing a little bit of that illustrious magic that it had over the previous years.
Didn't a lot of the big players in the gaming industry pull out?
Yeah, so there's no EA, there's no Activision, which means most of what's the Activision stuff probably is going to be talked about in Sony's press conference with Call of Duty, with Destiny. There's a lot of players that pulled out. Nintendo is only doing Zelda. I think that was the first heavy hitter to really pull out, because they do so many Nintendo Directs. So they don't really have to have that presence there at E3 like they used to in the previous years.
Yeah, because one of the things that Nintendo has done is, as opposed to holding a big press conference where, all the media and CNET and New York Times and stuff is invited, they've moved to just sort of shoving it on their website and YouTube, which,
right.
On the one hand, I think is a brilliant thing from the consumer end, but also could sort of be seen as, Nintendo is maybe not making as much money as the other big three, as it were.
Well, we could already know that Nintendo is not isn't making as much money as the Xbox or the PlayStation platforms. But I mean, E3 is always cool to watch. That should be on YouTube. I know they usually stream it sometimes. But I definitely think Sony is going to be coming with some big things when they do their personal press conference. But I mean, you can expect to see Infinite Warfare. Bungie's going to be there for Destiny, which I personally am super excited about. You're going to see a bunch of games. Xbox has already come out and said, well, Microsoft has already come out and said, don't expect anything big this year, and big was in quotes. So, it might just be a status quo type of thing for the Microsoft this year.
Maybe. I mean, I was reading some articles that I guess something showed up on the Xbox Games Marketplace store very briefly, and that was a public open beta for Halo Wars 2 that had a release date of this Monday. So maybe they're going to drop that. That would be interesting.
Yeah, and then also on the marketplace, they offered Fallout 4 for free.
Yeah,
and Bethesda was like, "Oh hell no! Hold on a second, back that up, back that up."
Yeah, I guess anybody who downloaded that for free, because that occurred a couple days ago, not only, I mean, you could play it, but I guess Microsoft revoked the licenses. So even though if you got it for free, it is now just taking up space on your hard drive.
Yeah.
But I guess interestingly though, those who did get it free also get free $10 accredited to their Microsoft account. Because because I guess it was Microsoft's fuck up, and so they were just like, here's $10 towards whatever.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that's somewhat interesting that it's weird that we think of like, there's this old saying of like somebody was asleep at the switch because it's like the internet, and you wouldn't imagine like switchboards like the old telephones in the 1950s and stuff. But I guess that's what happened.
Now somebody fell asleep and hit the oh shit button.
Pretty much. Exactly. All right. So Damian, what are your E3 predictions for this year? Like what do you want to happen, and what do you expect to happen, and like what do you think you would be like surprised or disappointed if they did or didn't do this year?
I guess I could say I would be. I wouldn't say shocked. Oh no. Well, I'm gonna just go with some predictions, and then I'll go into what I want. So some predictions. I think we're going to see something from Kojima. I think Kojima's going to come on stage and give us a brief taste of what's going on. Maybe I think he's going to come on stage. I don't think they're going to cop out and do a Vidoc or anything like that. I think they're going to actually have him on stage and talk to the crowd, which would be dope. I think this is a big one. This is one I'm just pulling out of thin air. I think you're going to hear some more about Shenmue.
Okay.
Whether like what's the status, what's going on, whether they have any concept, like maybe an alpha dev kit in place, anything like that. I think we're going to hear something about some status stuff about that. What else? I think, we know they're going to talk about VR, how long they're going to talk about it. The question is how much Sony will spend on VR. I know it's going to be big this year. It's going to be like the big platform they're going to try to push. Will it be as a size of like a console? Well, I guess you could say it is a separate add-on console. So I guess they're going to try to treat it as one.
Well, we know the size of it though.
Yeah.
The size the PlayStation VR has a they're calling it a something, they're calling it a processing unit, and it's basically like it's like the size of like 4 Altoids tins stacked next to each other.
Yeah, when I meant size, I meant like priority as far as like
Oh, yeah. No, I
you
think
know,
I think they'll hit it hard, Dame, because if it's coming out
yeah.
this October, that's only a few months away now. I think that
Yeah.
they were gonna, because like they didn't hit it that hard last year, and they sort of like announced it, well, formally earlier this year to like the public.
Mm.
And so I'd think that they'd probably spend a bunch of time on it. But carry on.
Yeah. Now the question is up for grabs. What's going to be? Well, I guess they might save that for PSX when they talk about the Neo, because that's been confirmed. It's not going to be talked about at E3. They're not going to bring it up, so they're probably just going to, project that to their core audience at the PlayStation Experience.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Oh, here's a big one. I think may happen. Kingdom Hearts 3 gets a date. We get a
Yeah.
date.
Yeah, that's a guaranteed.
It's time. It's time. Whether it be from Sony or whether it be from Square Enix, it's time. Where would you put it?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I kind of feel like we're not going to see anything from Square Enix this year except Final Fantasy 15. Like, I feel like they have probably like the entire company, like everything else is pushed pause until that they've launched this game that they've been developing for the last 10 fucking years.
Yeah, well, this is a huge game. This is almost like, I guess you could say, history repeating itself, because this is like a do or die game for the franchise, over the past few years.
And the thing that's even more do or die is that the actual director of the game, because he took over from another director, and he literally publicly said that, like, if we don't nail this is the actual last Final Fantasy game.
Oh.
Which is pretty, that's cool that he's honest about it, but it's like, that's pretty hardcore that it's like the dude who's making the thing is like, yeah, no, if this ain't good, for real, dog,
right. Well, if this is the last Final Fantasy game, that's a big piece of gaming, history that's going to be gone.
Yeah,
I was going to say history too, Dame. If you weren't going to say history, I'd have been like, history. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, it's like a part of the gaming world.
Even people that like don't play the games know of Final Fantasy. I know, people like my parents, for example, like they all went to see that movie, gosh, ages ago, maybe 6 years ago, whatever. Final Fantasy Spirits Within,
Yeah.
had like Adam Baldwin and some other chick and a bunch of other people.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
That one.
It actually wasn't a bad movie, though.
No, it wasn't terrible at all. I thought it was great at the time. But it's like, it has more of an impact than just a game. Like people know that name. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I know that Dragon Quest was the blueprint, but it was Final Fantasy that has laid the foreground for JRPGs. That's the granddaddy of all granddaddy JRPGs, and to have that not be there for a future Final Fantasy is going to be tough. It's going to be really tough.
Well, and they're in a really weird position because they haven't released. I mean, they've been making this game for literally 10 years. Like, that is a whole decade in which the rest of gaming and people's tastes have evolved. And, like a Japanese role-playing game like Final Fantasy 15 has so much to prove and live up to. Not only being developed for that long, but also, so many American developers have made so many American role-playing games, and they're sort of become dominant throughout the world when, back in the 80s and 90s, it was all Japanese RPGs. Like, American RPGs were real small, like basically sequestered to the personal computer playing space.
That's true. That's true. I mean, that just came with over time. Different developers have come onto the forefront. You got developers like Naughty Dog. You got developers that Microsoft have picked up. They've come along now and taken I guess you could say, Western RPG, created something unique, and it's now, I guess, dominated the JRPG scene. A lot of people like to feel they're in control. There's a lot of gamers out there that don't really like pushing a button and it causes an attack. They want to actually feel like that they are attacking that subject. So
sure,
I know a lot of people that even when Pokemon came out, they weren't big Pokemon fans. They don't like Final Fantasy for that reason. They don't like Chrono Trigger for that reason. It's just they want to have a control. They don't want to just push attack and then they attack. That they to them that's not connecting. But I don't know. It's just gonna be weird if we don't have another Final Fantasy.
There'd definitely be a heartbreak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's so weird though, because even though this is the 15th Final Fantasy game, this is probably like what, the 20th or 30th game, because there's been so many spin-offs and things.
Oh, tons and tons of spin-offs.
I mean, the entire company of Square, which merged with Enix years ago, Square Enix is the company now. Like the whole company was founded because the first Final Fantasy, way back in the 80s, or it might have even been earlier, but no, 80s.
It was the 80s.
It is 80s. This is NES, right?
Yeah.
Like it was originally just called Fantasy, and then the company was going bankrupt, and so they slapped the word Final Fantasy on the title, because if it didn't save them from bankruptcy, it was going to be their last fantasy game. And now, again, Final Fantasy 15 plus probably 20 or 15 other spin-off games and movies and books and TV shows and toys and clothing lines and household names and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, oh, well, even though Square Enix as a company is doing great, like they have the Tomb Raider franchise now, and they're doing the Hitman franchise, and they've got movies and live action movies and stuff coming at those. Like they got a lot on the line for the thing that built the company. It'd be like, gosh, what would a good comparison like? It would be like if Apple computers, like the Mac, didn't like dropped off the face of the planet in popularity, And I realized,
a world with no superheroes.
Yeah,
no Marvel.
Exactly.
I was gonna say Simpsons went off the air on Fox.
This doesn't make it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, that's never gonna happen.
No, it's not. Much to my chagrin.
Yeah. It's gone on too long, and it's just too consistent of a fan base. Simpsons is going on forever, man.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen Simpsons in years.
Neither have I.
I watched a fair amount of last season, and it was probably the most return to form Simpsons I've seen in a long time. And I owned, I got like the first 10 seasons on DVD, which arguably was when it started going downhill, was about season 10.
Yeah.
But God, they're on 29
now?
Season 29 now, which is insane.
They didn't jump the shark, they jumped the megalodon.
Yeah, right.
How do you keep coming up with episodes though? I mean, it has to just be inspired by everyday life and social media and politics and all that, and they just find a way to stretch that out for it.
Well, The Simpsons was always an analog of the real world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the real world keeps on turning, so they keep putting out stuff. But no, I brought that up because, or I guess Mike actually brought it up, but I think it was last year, like the dude who plays Smithers and Mr. Burns and like Ned Flanders and like everybody, like, I guess he was gonna leave the show because like there's some contract dispute or whatever. And Fox, instead of being like nice people in the PR way and being like, oh, we'll renegotiate and all this sort of stuff, they're just like, yeah, no, he's fired. We'll replace him with the best actors available. And it was just like, wow, what a dark fucking thing to say about somebody who's been your bread and butter for 29 years.
Well, they didn't want to, it was almost in jeopardy. I forgot what season it was almost in jeopardy because they didn't want to give him a raise.
Yeah.
Like they didn't do, like, they've been playing The Simpsons for almost 30 years, and you didn't want to give them a raise? Like, Fox, you're a multi-billion-dollar company.
Right. I think The Simpsons actually have a channel like dedicated to themselves. I think it's like FXXX or FXX or something.
Oh, no, I know what that is because I have it. So what it is because Fox Network has the Fox channel on the ABC channels, right? And then they also have the FX cable network, and then they launched a new cable network called FXX, two X's, and on their app/website, there's a thing that if you have the FXX on your cable or your satellite or your IPTV subscription, you have this access to this thing called Simpsons World, which is like the greatest thing ever. And it's every single Simpsons episode ever with commentary, all the special features of the DVD, and every single line, word, scene, music cue, actor is all organized via metadata. So you could be like, I want to see every scene with Ned Flanders ever, and it'll play them sequentially.
Wow.
It's the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen for like a TV show. Like it's crazy.
That's definitely for the hardcore.
That's what I was thinking of.
Oh yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I'm probably a little hardcore, but it's awesome. Anyway, that was actually kind of cool. What the fuck were we talking about? E3 predictions?
What? That's how it starts. That's how it starts.
This is what the fork in the ear, your ear is. So there you go. Go on.
What else do I got? What else do I have? The Kingdom Hearts one. That was the bomb dropper right there. God of War?
Maybe. There's been rumors that they're doing yet another God of War, but it'll be within a different mythology, which I think would be cool because
they're talking about Norsemen, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll take that.
Actually, they have tons of pantheons to go mess up.
You know what, Dame? I think you're right. Do you know why? Because the last 2 months on PlayStation Plus free games, they've been dropping those PSP God of War games.
Yep.
And I literally put the one on this month on my PlayStation Vita, and I was like, I bet you they're gonna announce a new God of War.
A little hype up.
I mean, that's the best way to do it, you know.
I actually like Ascension. Ascension was okay. Pretty good.
I played the multiplayer beta. I never played 3, and I never played Ascension, which is ironic because I played and own all the other God of Wars.
I remember when 3 came out, that was the one game that showed the power of the PS3 at that time.
True.
That game was so gorgeous when it first came out. And you can see the obvious jump from 2 to 3 with that. You know, I love 3. Although I think 2 is still my favorite. It's just long as hell.
Yeah, 2 was super long. There's like a bunch of points there. I think when you get to that like city in the water or whatever, and you're pushing all those goddamn blocks, and it's like, really another goddamn block pushing puzzle for real?
Yeah, I kid you not. I think one day I spent about 8 hours playing that game, and I don't even think I made it to half the game. It's like, Jesus Christ, this game is just ridiculously long.
God of War games can get like that.
Yeah. It's funny because those PSP games, they're like super tight. You know, they're about 10
Well, I can see that because it's a portable game. You only for those you're basically on the go. You cut it on, you play a couple hours, you cut it off.
I mean, just in compared to the main games on home consoles, like the handheld ones, I don't know. I thought they were better actually, but then again, I also hadn't played the last 2, so what do I know? All right. So, do you have any E3 predictions there, Mike? Like what you want to see or what you don't want to see stuff?
I definitely think Bethesda's going to come with a special edition for Skyrim.
Oh, you mean like a HD remaster?
A HD remastered. Yeah. They might come with the anticipated Nuka-Cola Fallout 4 DLC announcement.
Okay.
Bethesda, for the listeners that don't follow gaming deeply, they're the makers of the games Fallout, the Elder Scrolls series, the Evil Within. They're pretty much an in-depth type of gaming. That's what they do. I definitely think Bungie's going to come out with more from the Rise of Iron DLC that they're going to release September 20th.
Which is the latest Destiny expansion.
Which is the latest Destiny expansion. I guess we could jump in that in a minute.
Or we could just hit it now.
Yeah, I am
So
I am very curious of hearing you guys talk about
so
what you guys
since
think.
this podcast, and specifically the people on this podcast, we literally just sort of like ended our Agents of the Nine of Destiny podcast. Not because we hate Destiny, because we don't. We're just tired of their shit, or at least me and Dame are. But they announced a new expansion, and they claim that it's supposed to be as big as the Taken King. And what did they list? They listed new story campaign. They listed 3 new playable zones, like overworld maps, that are all tied together in its own new location on Earth. They announced a new endgame raid and some new strike missions,
And
of course
updated strikes.
And of course a bunch of new stuff. I mean, when I first heard about it, I was like, that's super weak. I did watch the trailer and the stream, and I was like, okay, I can kind of warm up to that a little bit, you know? And the other thing, and Dame pointed this out too when we were talking earlier this week, that you know, it's $30 as opposed to $40.
Yep.
And I think you said something at the effect, Dame, that was like, I wonder if that's because even though they say the content is comparable, it's actually not the same amount of size, or at least for what you're getting, so it's priced a little lower.
Yeah, it's a smaller. Well, it is a smaller DLC.
I have a different take on that. So my thought on why they're pricing it at 30 instead of 40, which was last year's expansion, or a full game price of 60, is Destiny is an odd game in that it's online only and it's playable on the last generation consoles, Xbox 360 and PS3, as well as, of course, current consoles, Xbox One and PS4. And they've shared all of their content so far, and September 20th, which is when Destiny Rise of Iron comes out, they're going to split, and they are the old consoles, PS3 and 360, are not getting the Rise of Iron expansion, and the expansions are moving off onto current consoles only. But they also mentioned that they're still going to air quote support the PS3 and the 360 versions of the game, but the progress will not carry over if you choose to continue down that path. Which is interesting because it's basically like upgrade or stay with where you're at until we're done with Destiny 1. And they'll probably get stuff like, you know, the live content from the live team on a monthly basis too. I would imagine that they would still share that. But as far as expansions are concerned, until Destiny 2, they're fresh out of luck. But I think that the reason that it's $10 cheaper is because they know that the people who haven't made the jump to PS4, Xbox One, you know, gotta get a whole new console and buy a whole new game and like all their expansion and all that stuff. And even though their progress carries over, they got to shell out a bunch of money. So I think that I'm hoping here that it is the same amount of content as the Taken King, which would please me, but that it's less to give a little bit of an income, I guess, boost to the gamers who are already going to have to buy fucking whole new hardwares to keep playing their addiction, basically.
It's worth it.
It's worth the person who upgraded this year.
Damn right, it's worth it.
Well, the good thing is that with the cut of last gen, more can be portrayed. I'm sorry, more can be projected into this game.
Yeah, I totally skipped over that, Dame. You're right.
So I think it sucks for the last gen gamers, but it's good for the current gen gamers because now, you know, I would expect in this DLC they're going to expand even more on vault space. Because the last one they kind of ninja that one in there, kind of threw it in the last second. Here, by the way. But they're gonna have the room and a whole lot more room to expand on that. They can show off more worlds. They can implement bigger places within the planets that we've already seen. You know, so
yeah.
That's the big plus on cutting that. They can probably implement dedicated servers now and rebuild the net code and give us a more stable PvP gameplay, because as it is now, it's the worst. It's the worst.
Ah,
I would know. I stopped
I
playing a month or two ago.
Yeah, it's the worst.
I just got off. I just got off of it an hour ago. I can tell you, it's not the worst. It's no division. Okay, you're not falling through the maps. You're not locking up. You're not teleporting to walls and all that. But what I wanted to bring up is, Tim, you kind of glossed over for the PvP section, because I know, Dame, you predominantly played PvP.
Well,
the maps, the mode, and the feature. The feature is what I want to talk about.
We don't know yet. That's
Yeah,
why.
we
That's
don't
why.
know.
That's why I didn't really get into it, because we don't know.
But I mean, we can pretty much speculate what the feature's going to be. You're going to get custom games.
God, I hope so. I mean,
if
I
you're
would like
leaving,
it.
we all said back in the days, back in the day of the agents, that that's the last gen's holding them back.
I don't think so. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't think fucking last gen's holding them back, and the reason why is because it's Bungie, and they made the fucking Halo games, and they were the king of PvP custom games forever. Like, no other game had as much fucking custom multiplayer shooter features as the Bungie Halo games. So the fact that last gen is holding them back, when they did all of that shit on 360, including like map making and custom rules and like changing volumes and like space and like all sorts of stuff, like that's, I don't believe that for a second. I mean, I want custom games, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's holding them back. I think that's crap.
I would like to see it, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think we get it until Destiny 2 or 2.0 or whatever it's going to be called. I mean, if they do, awesome. I'm there. Like that alone will bring me back so that I can play with you all again. Because one thing that's kind of interesting about, pretty much most of my podcasts is like my podcast crew usually comes from my gaming crew that I play with online. And we've all sort of come together because of Destiny or because of Marvel or because of this reason or that reason. And right now, none of us are playing the same game. Like Dame, you're playing NBA. Well, Mike's still playing Destiny. And I'm playing the flavors of the month in the form of Mirror's Edge Catalyst and stuff like that.
Yeah, I kind of want to jump into that too. I think I'm going to go ahead and just try it out.
Did you like the first one, Dame?
I actually did. I liked the first one a lot. I liked the first one a lot. I've seen some footage of the new one. It looks really, really pretty. But I don't know. I'm so skeptical. Is this just a repolished Mirror's Edge with a little bit of a abrupt storyline? Or is this basically
I'll tell you what it is, since I'm obviously the one playing it, but I am a Mirror's Edge fan. So what Mirror's Edge Catalyst is it's a sort of soft reboot. Like, I guess it continues from the end of the first game where she's like imprisoned, but the bad guy Kruger is not dead. So it's sort of like that. It's sort of like the Hulk movies.
Yeah, the bad one.
New cast, that stuff maybe sort of happened. That would be probably the best way to put it. Graphically, it is better, and here's my gripe. It's not. There's issues. There's issues with the actual graphics of the game. So the difference between the first one and this one is the last one was a linear first-person parkour / sort of some light combat and like jumping puzzles and stuff. This one is that, but it's open world, which is cool. Don't get me wrong. That's really awesome. But my problem with it being open world is the developer DICE, which is known for how powerful their video game engines are and for doing like Battlefield and currently Star Wars Battlefront, and they've done a lot of games, and they're really technologically capable. There's nothing wrong with the frame rate. The frame rate's solid 60, I think. But when you turn too fast to the left or the right, there's texture tearing and pop in. And in the open world, like when you're up on a high building and you're going towards another building, you can like see the pop in from like low resolution into high resolution. And it's like, come on, dudes. What is this stuff? Which it's weird because I think when you're standing still, graphically, it's of course better than the first one. But when you're moving, it starts to show its sort of Hollywood trickery, as it were, which diminishes the experience, in my opinion. But then again, graphics are not everything, and there's nothing wrong with playing it. Like there's no frame rate issues or anything like that, and loading is fine and all that sort of stuff. I actually had the good fortune to play a not necessarily public version of the game it was shown publicly, but it was the E3 build from last year at PAX Prime. And it was really fucking broken. Like you were jumping through walls and like grabbing on ledges. You couldn't get off of them, and they had to restart the console a couple times because the code was bad. None of that stuff is in the main game. Thank you very much. They fixed all of the actual gameplay problems. I don't have, like, I'm not frustrated with the controls. The controls are more complicated than the first game, but within that complication, you get a greater degree of freedom. A lot of stuff is done on all of the shoulder and the triggers. So you'll like hold R2. You basically have a sprint boost gauge now. And by executing smooth parkour versus rough or fucked up parkour movement through the environment, your gauge builds, and you can build momentum, which of course the entire game is about. And say
it encourages speed running.
Well, it totally encourages speed running, but from a gameplay perspective, it encourages you it encourages you to play the game correctly, as opposed to just sort of like muddling your way through it. Like it's not, I wouldn't say it's newbie friendly, like at all. If anything, like the first game was more newbie friendly. But it's really cool. Like you can, like hold certain buttons to like lift over stuff. You have an actual button to, when you're in the air, lift your legs up over obstacles. So you time your jumps and you're lifting your legs up over. And when you perform all of these things and hit all the buttons and stuff, like it's actually a hard game to stream because it's like real intense in terms of like keeping your focus and stuff. Or at least I've been streaming it and I've not been talking much because I've been focusing on pressing buttons and stuff. But all of that stuff feels amazing when you do execute it. And then, of course, shitty when you don't, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with a game that treats it as a game as opposed to, and you're probably going to hate me on this, as opposed to sort of holding your hand like an Uncharted game. Hello?
Shots fired, huh?
Did we lose Dame?
No, I'm here.
No.
I
think you just made him speechless because you said you took a shot at Uncharted. I think that's what happened.
I did.
You said, well, at some points it doesn't hold your hand, No, Uncharted wise.
I agree. I'm just saying, Uncharted gives you the movie experience, and it's really good at doing that. But at the same time, it sometimes takes away control from you as a gamer, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's the purpose of Uncharted. They want you to play a movie and to get that cinematic experience. Sometimes you have to be taken out of being a gamer. The game aspect.
No, I understand that. I'm not trying to pick a fight. I obviously love Uncharted, and I finally beat 4, by the way. My point is that Mirror's Edge Catalyst is like a gamer's game versus like a newbie friendly game. Like it encourages you to actually like use the mechanics, and when you play them well, you look like a total fucking badass. And when you don't, you look like somebody who's just picked up a video game controller for the first time. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Oh yeah. I mean, one of the best things in the world to see, literally, if you go on YouTube and you cut on Mirror's Edge, you search Mirror's Edge, and you just watch someone speed run through it. Oh my gosh, it's probably the most amazing thing you've ever seen in your life.
Oh yeah,
It really is.
I've seen that stuff, and I'm just like, man, I was never able to play the first game that well.
Yeah.
But that's good that you bring that up, because even though the controls are more complicated, I feel like I'm able to accomplish more badass things, like those cool speed runs with those crazy people who are doing crazy flips and tricks and stuff. Like it allows you to do those things easier, I think, in this new one.
Right. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it out. I think I might wait a little bit. Is it worth the $60, or should I wait till it goes down like 40?
I could always share play it to you, Dame.
That's true.
We never take advantage of that functionality. Can we just stop for a second? Like, that is the greatest fucking thing ever.
I haven't done it since I did it one time with a buddy of mine. We were playing Dying Light, and he let me share play it, and then
great game.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So, but yeah, we should.
Yeah, just name the time.
The share play feature is
name the time, man. More than happy to do it for you.
The share play feature is kind of cool, though. It really is.
It's super cool. It convinced you to upgrade your internet, Mike.
It certainly did.
Yeah, I tried my share play when I got my new super high speed internet, and those don't know, I'm West Coast, and both Mike and Dame, they're East Coast. And so what SharePlay is on PS4 only is you basically stream your own game from your console, like Netflix, to somebody else's console, and they receive it like a Netflix stream, but can play from across the fucking country. But the thing about it that's magic is that, well, if you have sufficient internet speed, I think what did you say the first time you saw it, Mike? You're like, holy shit, this is crystal clear or something?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I definitely pay for my internet to be fast now too. So
yeah, well, so do I.
So they knocked the kinks out, because back when it was still in its rare form, we did it on Dying Light. It was pretty good for the most part, but it was still kind of janky.
Yeah, well, even this year, last October, me and my other podcast co-host, who unfortunately couldn't be here, he gives his regards. He was going to be on the show, Nathan Wolfe, but his wife, I guess, broke a tooth, and he was helping her get that fixed, because that's bad. But no, me and him, we streamed from his console in Oregon to where I'm at in Washington State. We streamed, what's that game called? Until Dawn. And we streamed that whole game, and it was really, really good, but we definitely did have some issues. And we've done some streaming since then, because there was a big PlayStation update in March or something, and it's even better now. So, they're always improving things.
Cool.
Did we sufficiently talk about Destiny enough for you, Mike? We got so off topic.
And if you want to hear more about Destiny, check out my podcast, the RNGcast, available on Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Play. Or you can find us on Libsyn. Just look up the RNGcast.
Oh God, this is what I sound like on all of my podcasts, don't I? Look what I've done. I've created you, Mike.
I'm getting good at plugs, trust me.
My spawn has gone into the world and made his own podcasts and is shilling his own shit.
Damn right.
Hey man, no worries. I guess in terms of my E3 predictions, since I guess we're still on this fucking topic, I want to see new games that I've never fucking heard of that are gonna blow my mind and make me excited again. Because I'm a little peeved that this week we've had so many games leaked and data leaked. It's oh, well, this new PlayStation 4.5 or PlayStation Neo or PlayStation 4K or whatever this PlayStation 4 half new console thing is that they're doing. It's oh, it's officially not going to be there. And then it's oh, hey, sequel to pretty damn good video game, in my opinion, Watch Dogs 2, totally leaked. And I'm looking at a fucking website right now where it's plastered all over everything, watch the thing. It's available November 15th, 2016. It's taking place in San Francisco. And this is all sorts of stuff that should be in E3. and like everybody's announcing shit like before E3. So if they're doing that, like I either think either E3 is going to be balls amazing this year, or everybody's trying to just like downplay E3, I guess. Like that's the only thing I can come up with. So like I want to see games I've never heard of. You know, like I know there's like 2 Sony studios specifically for the PlayStation, or Sony owned studios, I guess. One is Sony Bend, who last did a portable Uncharted and a ton of really good stealth action games, Siphon Filter. They've been working on something for fucking 6 years. Nobody's heard a peep from them.
Yeah, they gotta be. We hope they're working on something, man. There's no way they can just be twiddling their fingers for 6 years.
Yeah, and they've been around a long time, so it's not like they're in danger of like going away or anything like that. So they must be cooking up something big, or maybe they had something and they restarted a project or something, you know. And another one, which is a studio more close to me since I live in Washington, is Sucker Punch Interactive, also owned by Sony, who's done the Infamous games and the Sly Cooper games. And back in the day, they created. No, did they start with Sly Cooper? Did they start with something before on the PlayStation?
They did. Yeah,
was it Sly?
Was Sly.
Okay, my bad. I'm probably thinking of Insomniac, who did Spyro. Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of. Anyway, Sucker Punch, who's known for doing the Sly Cooper stealth cartoony games as well as Infamous, like they've been dormant since the PlayStation 4 came out, because they launched a couple months later with Infamous Second Son, their third Infamous game, and they've been quiet forever. And they're like, you know, they're not a slow studio either. They like have continuously pumped out a game every 2 years, and it's been 3 years now. It's crazy. But the rumor though, and I want to throw this out there because you know you guys might be interested in it. The rumor is that they've been working on a exclusive to PlayStation, because it's a Sony owned studio, Spider-Man game. There's been a lot of talk about that.
Yeah, I have heard about that. I wouldn't mind them doing that. I know the open world aspect of it will probably be phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, if they take a hold of that, take New York, because they did a really good job with Seattle.
Well,
granted, I haven't been there in a long time.
It was a really cool place.
From what I remember,
it was a really cool city that took place on 2 islands with a bridge between them. And I guess they used the name Seattle, and they have the Space Needle in it. If you've actually been in Seattle, they did a shitty job, considering their studio is in Seattle, basically. But for those who don't know what Seattle actually looks like the city was cool. Like, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with the city you play in. Anyway, I'm sorry. You struck a nerve, Dame. You struck a nerve.
Well, I'll tell you this: if they do take over and do the Spider-Man and get New York together, they got a high bar. I mean, a high bar to reach. Because I tell you this, Ubisoft, hands down, captured New York in the division. That was probably the most accurate I've seen in a video game of New York City. Like literally, it was so accurate. I was playing with my buddy, and he had never been to New York, and I was literally giving him a tour of where every store that was, obviously it couldn't be placed there for licensing issues,
sure,
but where every store that was in Times Square.
That's awesome, dude.
To the T. You know, they nailed it. So they got a high bar to catch, you know, if they want to tackle Spider-Man like that, because that would definitely bring the authenticity to it. You got to nail New York. New York is a part of Spider-Man.
That's true. You know? New York and Spider-Man is as much a character as Peter Parker and Mary Jane. You know,
right?
But to their credit, and I want to bring up 2 things here before moving on, is the games that Sucker Punch make, particularly the Infamous games, which are superhero games in cities, their gameplay and movement mechanics within a city are unparalleled, in my opinion. Like, it just feels so good to play versus some of the shittier Spider-Man games in which you're swinging around New York and it doesn't feel good, even though it should, because you're fucking Spider-Man. So if
Who
they
did? Who?
well, excluding Spider-Man 2, which is the gold standard, because it's because they did webbing realistically and like all physics based and stuff, and then every other one didn't do that, which was retarded. But speaking of open worlds, or open realistic cities, Watch Dogs 2, because the first Watch Dogs, which was basically Person of Interest, the game, took place in Chicago and allegedly is super realistic. But the new Watch Dogs is taking place in San Francisco, and most of the video game journalist press takes place in San Francisco, and most everybody is saying that it is like 100% accurate to how San Francisco looks. So that'll be interesting to see how they go about doing that, because like I literally was in San Francisco a week or so ago, and like that place is not flat.
No, it's very hilly.
There's nothing flat about that place at all. And so like I don't know.
So Tim, in your adventure in San Francisco and in other parts unknown, did anything happen?
What do you mean? Did I get mugged?
Yeah, did you get mugged?
No, dude, man, like I stopped at this Shell station and there was like this stereotypical, like, you know, like
hipster,
like African American, like gangbanger, and he had like the fucking gold chain that said bling on it, and he had like the gold teeth and a backwards hat. And I was just like, am I gonna get mugged by the gas attendant? But in reality, he was like one of the nicest fucking people ever. And we had like this long conversation about like classic Coke should be in bottles versus cans. And he was like super nice. And like that was the weird thing. Like I've been to LA. LA is a little hostile, right? And like San Francisco, people are pretty chill. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like there's a lot of bums, you know, but like that's nothing new to me. Like we have a lot of that in Seattle, you know. So it's like whatever.
That's every major city,
right?
Any major metropolitan area will have homeless. I mean, Skid Row in L.A. You know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no, like I don't know. It's fine. I found it a fairly friendly place. I found it fucking super expensive, like everything. And I know people say that, but like it's really expensive there. But you know what's really weird though? Like I bought some booze there and it was like fucking half the price that it is back home, which was super weird. Like it's the only thing that's cheap there, which maybe by purpose, since like I guess the city's fucked up or whatever. But what major city isn't fucked up, you know?
So Tim, since you just broke the news that you bought some booze, is there a drunk stream coming for us? Like all three of us getting together, playing a game, drinking booze, having some fun.
Yeah.
Maybe when Rise of Iron comes out, we can have a drunk stream.
Maybe. Yeah. It's possible now. For those who don't know, since I guess we're switching to the life topic now and getting away from gaming since we've been talking about it all fucking show. I used to be an alcoholic, and a couple weeks ago I broke my sobriety, and have continued to break in every day. But I'm okay. Nobody should worry necessarily. I don't think. Like I feel okay and in control. Minus the parts where I'm drunk again. I'm sorry, what?
That's how it starts. You have control.
It's true. It's true. But I mean, I was sober for 3 years. You know, I've done a lot of growing up in those 3 years. Like, I think anybody does a lot of growing up in 3 years, you know? And like going through that and like getting clean, as it were, which is, it's super horrible for me to be talking about this in the fucking pilot episode of The Fork in Your Ear. But whatever. I'm a fairly open, fairly transparent sort of fellow since I've been doing podcasts forever. You know, like I talked about it a lot because I saw my buddy Ian in San Francisco, and I remember we were sitting on his deck on that fucking ridiculously windy vertical fucking suburbs of San Francisco. And you know, he was actually one of my friends who despite drinking himself was one of the ones who helped get me clean. And so we had a long, real chat about like whether I was gonna fall all the way off the fucking wagon or whatever, despite having this chat over drinks, which was all the more ironic. But no, it was really weird. Like I had bought the booze earlier that day, and when we had the drink, like we were just initially like going out on the deck to like talk and stuff, and look at the night sky, which is actually a really cool feature of San Francisco. The night skies and looking out at the city is pretty it's pretty cool looking because it doesn't look like other cities. But like I had to think about like actively like having a drink. Like I didn't like, it wasn't like before where it was like, well, booze is out, I have to get more booze and my cup is empty. It was just like, oh, I guess I'm gonna have a drink with a friend. You know what I mean? Like it was a different thing. So I don't know. We'll see. Tune into podcast episode 5 and we'll see how we're doing, I guess.
You see, Tim, for me, I had a drinking. I could say I was an alcoholic too. I had a hard drinking problem when I was stationed in Japan, because, and I mean, full disclosure, I was underage, but in Japan I wasn't. Like in mainland, off base, I wasn't. So I would just get pissed drunk, come back on base, and somehow magically, when I had to go through the gateway checkpoint, I sobered up. And like my friends were all like, dude, that's amazing.
Because I know you're in the military, right? And so, like, how underage were you?
I was a year.
Oh, only a year? Oh, okay.
Which is still enough to get in serious trouble if they catch you, though.
See, because I was one of those people who started drinking at 16 and stopped at 21.
When you could go and buy it.
I started drinking I started drinking the same age, 16 too, and I mean it was heavy. And then for eight years I stopped. I was clean and sober for 8 years.
Okay.
And then one day I just decided, the reason why, I'll just say, since we're getting deep on the first podcast, the pilot.
Yeah, episode, I guess. Way to go,
my
Mike.
My dad, who passed 2 years ago, he was an alcoholic, and for me, I thought, okay, well, if he has I refer to it as like a demon.
I would agree that it's a demon.
Okay.
Like okay, so I just want to say this personally, having been an alcoholic and started drinking again and all that sort of shit that we just talked about. It's my opinion and viewpoint, having lived through it, that like fucking being an alcoholic or whatever is not a disease. It's a stupid fucking life choice. And anybody can choose to do it or not do it or be in control of it or not. So I think a demon is a much better classification of it than some other sort of fucking thing. Anyway,
disorder.
Go on.
And for me,
then a disorder.
Yeah, and for me, like I thought, okay, well, if I drink, it's gonna open that door for the demon to like creep its hand in and then push it open and then like slide in like a shadow type of thing.
I agree.
Like I'm using movie tropes to.
Dude, man, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, help visualize. I'm sure Tim,
I thought all this shit like a week and a half ago. So it's all good.
For me, I was like, I came to a realization that I'm not my dad. You know what I mean?
Sweet.
I'm my dad's son,
bro.
I'm my dad's son. I'm him, but I'm not him. You know what I mean? I have control of myself. I don't drink till black out. I don't get mad and hit walls. I don't do any of the things that stereotypical alcoholics do. I'm not saying my dad hit walls or nothing. I mean, he got, fall over drunk and pass out drunk all the time. But, as opposed to, alcoholics from pass out, in weird places and maybe pee on the dog to I'm going to touch your butt.
Oh, yeah. No, I know people who've been drunk and then like sleep standing up holding their mug.
Yeah, my dad was the good kind of, the quote unquote good kind of alcoholic. And like now I can, if I'm at a party with a friend or, picnics or birthday parties and there's alcohol, I'll indulge, but I never go past a point. Like for me, I set the limit, you know what I mean? And I stick to it. If I say, hey, like I'll tell my girlfriend, hey, babe, I'm drinking 3 beers a night, or, I'll have a couple drinks. She'll look at me and be like, babe, remember what you said? And I'm like, got it. Boom, water. That way I can, I don't condone drinking and driving ever.
Oh yeah, no,
Ever,
I'm not condoning that either.
never drink and drive. It's dangerous. It will ruin your life.
That's
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, I feel your pain though, Tim. I really do. Like for me, when I said I didn't fall off the wagon, I gingerly jumped off and landed on my feet.
Well,
Safe.
I didn't gingerly jump off.
Like no, Mike, I fell the fuck off.
I crashed the vehicle. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm not gonna get into it, but the reason I did fall off was because this California adventure, I did go down to see a girl, and it did not go at all like I planned. And I was just in a really shitty place, and I was like all alone in some unfamiliar land, and then I was just like, "Fuck it, this is the time."
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah, that was stuff we talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. So, yeah.
You want to talk about this gorilla thing?
Yeah. All right. Fine. Let's talk about this fucking gorilla thing.
It's going to be quick. For those who don't know, in Cincinnati, a 3-year-old baby fell into a gorilla enclosure.
Hold on. This is not how we're doing it on this podcast. We're doing it this way. So I'll cue your thing, and then we'll talk about it. And Damon, Mike, obviously the link to the thing that I'm literally about to play live on the air is on here. So here it is.
Horror caught on camera, a child falling into a gorilla exhibit. Authorities killing the endangered gorilla to protect that little boy. He is now doing okay this morning, and ABC's Marcy Gonzalez has the latest from the Cincinnati Zoo, and we warn you, some of the video you're about to see may be disturbing. Good morning to you, Marcy.
Hi, Amy. Good morning. The zoo is back open today, but that gorilla exhibit remains closed as officials look into how this horrifying encounter you're about to see unfolded.
This is the dramatic video showing 10 minutes of pure terror. Watch as a young boy is trapped in a zoo enclosure, held in the clutches of a 400-pound gorilla.
A child has fallen into the gorilla cage.
At one point, the 4-year-old boy seen here cowering in a corner, the massive primate hovering over him. Onlookers at the Cincinnati Zoo.
Oh my God, it's dragging him through his fucking
stream. Grabbed and dragged through the water. His mother reassuring him from above. The gorilla even appearing to make eye contact with the boy.
Oh, that would be fucking terrifying.
Before standing him up, then grabbing him by the back of his shirt, sweeping him through the water again.
It's just fucking child waterboarding that fucking kid.
Taking aim, shooting and killing the 17-year-old endangered silverback gorilla named Harambe, while the massive animal is holding the boy between his legs.
They made the right choice because they saved that little boy's life.
The boy rushed to the hospital, his family telling ABC News he has been released, surviving the incident with only a concussion and a few scrapes. But this morning, protests and anger online about the gorilla's death. Many questioning why Harambe was killed.
Yeah, you could just turn it off now, Tim.
Okay.
You saw what happened. It's just them talking.
Yeah. So if we weren't clear, basically the gorilla grabs this 4-year-old child who's in his sort of like little man-made river, and he first drags him to the river by his leg, and the child's clearly freaking the fuck out. And then he grabs him by the back and pushes him underwater and just like holds him down like the Hulk fucking like drowning somebody. That is fucking crazy, Mike. Good Lord, our world is weird. I, like I'm, definitely not for the killing of animals, but like in that situation, like the dude was fucking waterboarding the child. Like how, like he was an endangered animal, so I assume that he wasn't that trained, because like, I mean, I don't know, like how trained can you train a gorilla unless it's from birth, right?
I think they had him for about 17 years.
Not even then. It doesn't matter how trained it is. Like the chimpanzees will tear your face off. It's like,
yeah,
I can see. Feel threat,
Yeah.
I guess if he feels a threat, you could be trained not to hit people for no reason in public, but when you feel threatened, that goes out the window.
Yeah.
Now your instinct is to survive or to protect what you think is being taken from you.
Now,
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. I'm team people, so yes, I agree with what they did. a lot of people I've already spoke to this about said, well, they should have tranked it. They should have done this, that, and the other. I'm like, that's a 450-pound gorilla, dude. Like,
well, and here's the risk if you're going the logic of tranking. Like, if he's moving the child around in the video, he's moving it really fast, right? You have a small child and a big gorilla. If you trank a child with a fucking gorilla dart or a big, horse tranquilizer, it'll fucking kill the child.
If you miss, or even if you hit the gorilla, it's not gonna instantly take effect. It's gonna piss the gorilla off.
It's not a goddamn video game.
They already talked about. They went over that, and he said that's the reason why we didn't tranquilize him, because he was already at the agitated state that he was in. A tranquilizer would have done nothing. It would have eventually taken to effect, but he would have been heightened even more. Yeah, much more irritated. So they had to put him down.
But what I'm saying, the term I used when I described, for the listeners to Tim and Damian, this act that the girl is doing, I use the term shit whip because that's effectively what it did. Okay, so far, if you listen, it's boom boom pow and shit whip. That's the two words I've used in podcast past.
I've actually never heard you say shit whipped ever.
No, that's what I'm saying about this one. I say it all the time in real life. Oh, okay. Well, at home.
I see how it is. You're not real with us. I get it, Mike.
No, I'm real with you guys. If it did let's just say they did do it, right? They tranked it. They tranked it. Where do you think the girl's gonna fall?
Yeah, that's true.
It's gonna fall on the baby, and good luck getting a 450-pound limp, deadweight gorilla off of a baby before it drowns.
It's a good point. It's a good point, man.
And breaking news, they're investigating the mother on this to see.
Yeah, that's a good question. How the fuck did the kid get in there?
Listen, yeah, because that's right. That would have never happened.
Because I've been to zoos, and we have a giant fucking animal preserve here in Washington State called Northwest Trek, where you like it's a fucking giant animal preserve. There's fucking giraffes and fucking bears and shit in there and stuff, and it's even in the park part where you can go up to rails and stuff, the rails are fucking huge. The child would have had to leapt out of her arms, or she would have been doing something stupid, or not paying attention. We don't know.
Probably wasn't paying attention because there's no way a 3-year-old child.
Yeah, you weren't paying attention.
First of all, he fell 15 feet.
Yeah, no kidding.
At 3 years old, so for him to survive that is huge. And it's no way of any parent that was paying attention to their child would have let that happen. No, I'm not buying that. I think she was preoccupied on her phone or doing whatever, and her child got away.
Indeed. Indeed. That's fucking crazy, Mike. Alrighty. I'm gonna go over to the YouTube thing that I saw this week. It's both a video, but it's also an intersection of insane technology that maybe we shouldn't be developing. The links in our Skype chat here. But there's this film called Sunspring, a sci-fi short starring Thomas Middleditch, who's the lead, nerd geek in the hit HBO TV series Silicon Valley. And so I'm going to play the video, but I'm also going to read the things in the start of the video here. And of course, our co-hosts here are welcome to watch the video on their own as well, so they can see, even though the context of the film is really just fine with the way it's presented. But the video starts out, it says, just above your smartphone keyboard lives an artificial intelligence. It was trained on lots of texts and emails and tries to guess what you'll type next. We were curious what would happen if we trained this kind of software on something else. Science fiction screenplays. So we fed a LSTM recurrent neural network with these. I don't know what the fucking LSTM recurrent neural network is, but it sounds fucking sci-fi. So
Skynet.
Yeah, basically. So here's the list. I'm gonna try and go through them quickly because it's a lot of fucking movies. But this is the list of Hollywood screenplays that was fed to this AI neural network thingy. 12 Monkeys, 2001: A Space Odyssey, 2012, 9 Abyss, Adjustment Bureau, Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension, Airplane 2, the sequel, Alien 3, Alien Nation, Alien Resurrection, Alien vs. Predator, Alien, Aliens, Arcade, Armageddon, Avatar, Avengers, 2012, Battle of Los Angeles, Blade Runner, Blade, Bodyguard, Book of Eli, The Box, Brazil, The Cell, Chronicle, Cowboys and Aliens, Cube, Dark City, Dark Star, Dark Man, Days of the Dead, Day the Earth Stood Still, Dune, E.T., Eight-Legged Freaks, Escape from L.A., Escape from New York, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Event Horizon, Fantastic Four, Fifth Element, Frankenstein, Freak, G.I. Joe, Rise of the Cobra, Gamer, Gattaca, Ghost Ship, Ghostbusters 2, Ghostbusters, Godzilla, Gravity, Gremlins, Heavy Metal, Hellboy, Highlander, Endgame, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, The Hollow Man, Hot Tub Time Machine, iRobot, I Am Number 4, The Incredibles, Independence Day, Interstellar, The Island, Jason X, Judge Dredd, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic Park The Lost World, Jurassic Park, Leviathan, Limitless, Logan's Run, Looper, Lost Horizon, Lost in Space, Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, Manchurian Candidate, The Matrix, Matrix Reloaded, Megamind, Men in Black 3, Men in Black, Mimic, Minority Report, Mission to Mars, Moon, Next, Oblivion, Omega Man, Pandorum, Paul, The Perfect Creature, P.I., Pitch Black, Planet of the Apes, Postman, Predator, Priest, Prometheus, Red Planet, Repo Man, Resident Evil, Return of the Apes, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Rocky Horror Picture Show, S. Darko, Scary Movie 2, Serenity, Shivers, Science, Silver Linings Playbook, Simone, Slither, Solaris, Soldier, Source Code Sphere, Spider-Man, Star Trek, First Contact, Star Trek Generation, Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan, Star Trek Nemesis, Star Trek in the Motion Picture, Star Trek, Star Wars, A New Hope, all the Star Wars films.
Yeah, but it's just all of them.
Starman,
A lot of films.
Starman, Starship Troopers, Strange Days, Super 8, Supergirl, Surrogates, Tron Legacy, Tron, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Terminator Salvation, Terminator, Rage, Carrie, The Thing, Time Machine, Total Recall, Transformers movie, Tremors, The Truman Show, Twins, V for Vendetta, Vanilla Sky, Virtuosity, Wall-E, War of the Worlds, Watchmen, Wild Wild West, X-Files Fight the Future, X-Men Origins Wolverine, X-Men 2, and Existence with a Z. Then it says, then we gathered a cast and crew for one day. Then we fed in random seeds from a sci-fi filmmaking contest. We gave the script prompts and things to sort of build the scene out of this crazy AI stuff. And then we turned on the program. This was the screenplay it wrote. And it's got some stuff of the screenplay. And it's actually intelligible, mostly. And it apparently also has song lyrics, apparently. This is what the AI gave out. Like, it gave out a song lyric thing of, I was a boy, I was a stranger, and I promised to be so happy. I was a beautiful day, I was a taller talk than I was born, and I was ready to go. And the truth was so long ago, I was so happy and blue, I was thinking of you. I was a long, long time. I was so close to you, and I was a long time ago. A long time ago, and I was ready to go. I was a home on the road. That's what it spit out. And then it says, what follows is our attempt at making it.
It starts at a minute 8.
Yeah. There's a guy, and he's in a weird suit, and he's opening a box that says Sunspring.
In a future with mass unemployment, young people are forced to sell blood. It's something I can do.
You should see the boy and shut up. I was the one who was going to be 100 years old.
I saw him again. The way you were sent to me, that was a big, honest idea. I am not a bright light.
Well, I have to go to the skull. I don't know.
The dude, he just scanned his skull into a piece of paper.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know anything about any of this. So.
The lead character just coughed up an eyeball.
Then what?
There's no answer.
We're going to see the money.
He takes the skull paper from him.
All right, you can't tell me that.
Yeah, I was coming to that thing, because you're so pretty.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's right.
So, what are you doing?
I don't want to be honest with you.
You don't have to be a doctor.
I'm not sure. I don't know what you're talking about.
I want to see you too.
What do you mean?
I'm sure you wouldn't even touch me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Principle is completely constructed at the same time.
It's all about you to be true.
You didn't even watch the movie with the rest of the base.
I don't know.
I don't care.
I know. It's a consequence. Whatever you need to know about the presence of the story. I'm a little bit of a boy on the floor.
I don't know. I need you to explain to me what you say.
What do you mean?
Because I don't know what you're talking about.
That was all the time.
Would have been a good time. I think I could have been my life. It may never be forgiven.
Lead dude looks really upset.
But that is just too bad. I need to leave. And I'm not free of the world.
Yes, perhaps I should take it from here. I'm not going to do something.
It's not a dream. But I've got a time to stay there.
Well, I still think you could be back on the table.
It's a damn thing scared to say. Nothing is going to be a thing. But I'm the one who got on this rock with a child. And then I left the other two.
And now the dude's suddenly floating through the stars, looking at himself.
There's a gun taped to the wall.
Couldn't even tell.
Yes, there is. The lead dude takes the gun off the wall. He puts it in his mouth. But he doesn't pull the trigger as he sees like a fucking black hole on the floor. And then I guess he's through it, and he's standing somewhere in a room with somebody on, like, a thing that he's looking at. He pulls up.
That was the dude from the beginning.
Oh.
Well, there's the situation with me and the light on the ship.
Oh, I feel like I'm a schizophrenic.
He was like a baby, and he was gone. I was worried about him. And even if he would have done it all, he couldn't come anymore. I didn't mean to be a virgin. I mean, he was weak. I thought I'd change my mind. He was crazy to take it out. It was a long time ago. He was a little late. I was going to be a moment. I just wanted to tell you that I was much better than he did. I had to stop him. I couldn't even tell. I didn't want to hurt him. I'm sorry, I don't like him. I can go home and be so bad. And I love him. And I can get him all the way out here and find a square and go to the game with him. And she doesn't show up. And then I'll check it out. I'm gonna see him when he gets to me. He looks at me. And he throws me out of his arms. And then he says he'll go to bed.
And that's the end of the movie. And it's just like the most fucked up thing I've ever seen. But at the same time, if you watch the film and go check it out on youtube.com, type in Sunspring, a sci-fi short film starring Thomas Middleditch. It seems like there's a dude with a girl, and then the girl has an affair with a guy. But then she like kills him because she didn't want to be a virgin. And then the dude is having a hard time and coughs up an eyeball and almost kills himself, but then gets sucked into a black hole and then finds him, the dude that she killed, dead.
Because... What the hell did we just...
Yeah. That's my point.
Thank you, Dame.
This is my point. Like, so that was made by a fucking, like, okay, so like obviously it was real people and like they put music to it and they added some context to this fucking shit show of a script. But it's sort like, even though it's basically autocorrect, it sort of kind of made some sense, didn't it? Or am I fucking insane?
I don't know what we just watched.
It made sense if you watched Donnie Darko, like kind of like how Donnie Darko makes sense. Or
I've seen Donnie Darko.
Oh God, what was that movie? The 30-minute movie on Netflix with the dude who got bit by a cobra and struck by lightning at the same time.
Jesus, I don't know anything about that, man.
Oh God. Anyway, it's a weird foreign film.
Okay.
And it's basically that. The plot is twisting and turning and it flips all around and then, it just ends. But it's really... That was weird. I mean, I'm not going to say that's 9 minutes I'll never get back, but that's 9 minutes that's 8 minutes and 45 seconds that I'll never get back. For 15 seconds, I literally said to myself, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah, no, it's true. But I couldn't pull away the first time I saw it.
I couldn't turn it off, for sure.
I was just like, this is the weirdest thing I have ever seen in my life. And I've seen a lot of weird movies.
Oh, yeah.
But it's so weird, though, because it's like, on the one hand, it's a cool experiment. On the other hand, it almost kind of made sense, and it was made by a fucking computer. That shit's scary. If a fucking AI neural net can put together a almost coherent script, that's man, Skynet's coming, bro.
That's pretty scary. That's pretty scary.
Sure it is.
So
you know, Google has it now, and at Gmail they have there's an algorithm that it scans the email and it comes up with 3 responses, so you don't have to type it. You don't have to type a response.
They have that on Apple Watch, actually, which I have. Like when you get a text, there's pre-written responses that are all like really basic, but somehow it knows. Like, it doesn't bring up, like, a full list every time. It brings up, like, a part of a list. Like, if somebody's like, do you want to go to the movies or something? And, like, somehow, like, the Watch or Apple or iMessage, iCloud, whatever, somehow it knows to give you the response of, like, yeah, let's go to the movie, or no, I'm busy, or can we do another time, or whatever.
That's dope. Yeah, I just found that very interesting, that saves a lot of time and is also like innovative as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, alrighty. That basically is all the time we have for you this week, and the end of the first ever episode of the Fork in Your Ear podcast. If you don't understand why the fuck it's called the Fork in Your Ear, it's because you're listening to us in your ear with earbuds, and we are the metaphorical fork in said ear. I know, it's weird, but that's what we were going for. So that's what we're rolling with. Look for this show in weekly format. We don't have a Facebook page or an email or even a Twitter yet. So for now, you can find all of our stuff at www.dynamicworksproductions.com for all of our other podcasts and things and Twitters and emails and all of that stuff. I'll get an official email and a Twitter and a Facebook together between now and when this launches. So expect to hear that in episode 2. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this time of weirdness and look forward to more weirdness in the coming weeks. So why don't you sign off, guys?
I'm Damian Newman, and I'll catch you guys next week.
And I'm Mike List. See you guys later.
And I'm your host, as always, Tim K.A. Trotter. Until next time, listeners, get forked. And we're out. I don't know if that was a good thing to say at the end or not.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I like it.
Thank you for listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast. You can find our podcast at www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Feel free to email us at dynamicworks@mac.com.
This is Dominic Armato, the voice of Guybrush Threepwood, and you're listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast.
Hello?
Hey.
What's going on?
How's it going, man? It's actually been a while.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. How are things over there on the east of the coast?
That's pretty good. Same
Yeah.
old. Yeah, nothing much really changed. It's just the same on this side.
Work still insane? You and your crazy work schedule?
It's kind of calmed down.
Yeah.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
Is it more busy in the summer or more busy in the spring and winter?
I think it was spring and winter.
Spring and winter is your busy season?
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's it. Or especially winter, Christmas and all that. Well, actually, no. I'm sorry. Spring and fall, winter is the slowest because of Christmas, holiday breaks, and all of that.
Cool.
People take off. Yeah. On vacation and stuff. Yeah, man. What's been going on?
Just being super crazy busy back at work since coming back from that Californian trip that didn't go so well. And I smashed my face open this week. That's good.
It's always fun.
I have these like bandage stitches things. It's like straight in between the eyes, like from the top of the forehead down to my nose.
Those aren't the ones that dissolve, Ollie, or those are the ones they gotta pull out?
It's not like I didn't like get like a thread and needle and stitch it myself. They're called steri strips. They're like sterilized pieces of tiny, like thin tape with like a piece of string in them.
Oh, okay.
Basically, like stick-on stitches.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, we got a bunch of those. It's getting there. I'm hoping it heals up nice because I kind of don't want a giant fucking scar on my face.
Yeah, at least you didn't get the when I was young, playing with my cousins, and hit my head on the radiator, busted wide open.
Oh, one of those old radiators that got like those fins on them.
Yep.
It's all sharp and shit.
Yep.
I know the kind. Oh my god, that's rough.
And they had to put me in because I was kicking so hard when I was at the hospital. They had to put me in a straitjacket. They put 3 staples in my head.
Jesus.
Yeah, man.
That sucks.
That's that. At least you didn't get that.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I've never I've been punched in the face and I've been hit in the head before, but I've never been like hit in the head before. So like I was not prepared. Like I thought I was like, I mean, I actually didn't feel any pain. Like it was more like, some numbness and then just sort of like a little bit of dizziness, but they're just fucking sprayed out of my face like so much like I had to close my eyes because it was just fucking coming down so hard. It sucked because like I was over like this they were polishing this tile thing below me on the ladder, like on the doorway I was working on. And so like like I get smashed in the face and just the blood starts spraying everywhere, all over the ladder, all over the windows, on this like sort of not like a tan gray tile thing. And then I just hear like 3 different people behind me go, "Oh fuck!" While I'm just like trying to climb down from this ladder, holding my eyes closed. There's blood's pouring everywhere. Pretty crazy.
That's wild. That's wild.
Yes, indeed. All right, so I just finished tweaking this logo. Made the fork a little more forky, I guess. And I'm gonna pop that over to you, see what you think. Let's see here. I've actually been fucking around with it for like the last 2 hours. What you watching or playing?
I was playing NBA 2K16 until I just got an error code. For no reason.
All right, check out that image there.
Yeah, I seen that.
Well, that's the updated one. As you notice, the fork is it's different than this one, which I just sent over.
No, you changed the fork slightly.
Well, yeah, I mean, the original one was sort of like a trident-y looking thing versus like a fork, you know? So does that newer one look better to you?
Yeah, it's cool. I like it.
All right. Okay, so we should probably lay down some groundwork here. So when Mike shows up, we got a plan. So
yeah, I would say, what are we talking about tonight?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let's nail that shit down. So I think I want to follow Mike's suggestion that we should like keep each like topic of thing, like keep all of our gaming stuff. Like we'll go like I'll do my gaming thing, you'll do your gaming thing, he'll do his gaming thing, and then we'll move on to like a different thing, you know? So then it's like all in one spot in the show, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. So we got gaming listed out by Tim and Mike and Damian.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what do you want to talk about in the gaming world this week, Dame?
There's a lot. You know, you got I already know what Mike's going to talk about. He's going to talk about the Destiny review.
Okay.
E3. We got E3 coming around the corner. You have
you want to do
predictions?
I was just about to say we could do predictions. That would be a good one for all of us.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll put you down for Damian. E3 predictions. Mike, Destiny, probably.
It's mid-season, so you can kind of talk about Game of the Years. Ask.
So let's see. I'll put you down for E3 predictions / halfway 2016 Game of the Year votes.
I can see why the 2K series with basketball is highly acclaimed because they put so much detail into creating.
Wasn't always the thing that 2K sports games were always a little better than the EA ones?
Well, the football ones were edging in on Madden. It was the fact that everyone had played Madden. There was a time where EA games were premier as far as sports. You know, but 2K football was closing in on Madden. And what happened with them was that EA knew it, and they locked up an NFL clause that only they could use, only they had the licenses for NFL teams. So that's what killed 2K and ESPN football. the basketball has now edged Live, because NBA Live is pretty much awful now. You know, the detail that goes into 2K is, you know, if you watch TNT basketball with Kenny, Shaq, and Howard, and their interaction of how they is almost organic, how they're captured in this game. So I'm curious to see how many takes that they've done, because every time you start a game, they never repeat the same thing, which is crazy. Their clothes are always changed. It's very dope how much detail went into making, you know, this game. Especially that pre-game show is just, I just sit there and watch it just to see what they're going to say next, because it's just like, it's almost like three guys just having a conversation. It doesn't have any lag. It doesn't have any, you know, it doesn't sound scripted or feel scripted. It's very organic, you know. So that's I like that about that.
Okay.
But FIFA, no, nothing's going to touch FIFA. That's EA's. They still pride and put a lot of thought into that.
Well, yeah,
Madden is
and
just
it's way bigger in like all of the other countries.
Right, you know, so FIFA is untouchable for EA, but Madden is always going to sell because it's Madden. There's no other NFL game, you know. They don't do baseball anymore because the show is completely taken over. The show is probably one of the best baseball games I've ever seen and played. Yeah, you know, so 2K has basketball locked down.
So in my head, I always sort of had like, I guess sort of like 4 sort of categories of like pillars of like general topics of the show. Like obviously, like in that mock-up cover art for Fork in Your Ear, I had gaming, comedy, life, and bullshit. But I don't know if that necessarily, like, I mean, it sounds good, but it doesn't necessarily. It's like, what the fuck would you talk about as comedy, as like a topic, you know, and like bullshit.
Right.
Like, I guess I could kind of feel that, you know, but it's like, so obviously we talk games, and we'll probably get into more games than other things, but at the same time, it's like I sort of like
giant bomb.
Want to establish, I guess, the pillars, you know, and so if it's like gaming and life, like what would the other 2 be? Like, I guess like TV and movies, and then like, I don't know, like what do you think?
I mean, like I said, we could do TV and movies. I mean, whatever, organic.
Okay, or we could just find it organically within the show.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do.
It's just a mashup.
Yeah. Well, I think at least for this pilot, I'm going to stick with that sort of, you know, that sort of introduction of, you know, like, welcome to the Fork in Your Ear podcast. All about gaming, comedy, life, and bullshit, or something like that. And then just sort of communicate that that'll probably evolve as the episodes roll out. So, as far as other things you wanted to talk about, what, like, what's on your mind?
Just getting ready for E3. You know, just want to see what's.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked.
What's going to happen, because this is the first E3 where a lot of people pulled out, a lot of developers.
Yeah,
you know, you still
it's true.
You still got, I think Bethesda's tomorrow. I think they're doing that again. They're taking that Sunday slap, but there's no Activision. There's no really nothing big coming from Nintendo, but Zelda.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen. You know, Bungie. I suppose Bungie's going to reveal some gameplay of Rise of Iron, because the reveal trailer only showed a lot of game art, different pictures. They didn't really go into any gameplay.
There's a bunch of shit in the stream. Did you see the stream?
I watched the stream, but it was more so like I didn't really see gameplay.
I mean, they had like a couple of bits of gameplay.
That's some more concept art, man. The trailer, a little bit, but it really, it wasn't like the previous revealed trailers where they've gone out into the patrol where they show you what's going on. You know, they just told us what's going to be there. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Maybe Kojima show us something. That's actually one of my predictions. Yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see this E3. It's going to be something different. And then now they open it up to the public, you know, which is, I want to see what that's going to do. You know, if that's either them wanting to be innovative or is that just a desperate reach out to gain attention because there's just too many, gaming conventions now, you know. So you got PAX, you got 3 different PAXs, you got EDC, you got Gamescom. You know, it's just not enough content from developers to keep showing these games over and over and over again. You got PSX, you know, you got
I mean, I was listening to PS I Love You this week, and Greg and Colin were talking about, you know, for the love of God, don't show things from The Last Guardian, don't show things from No Man's Sky. Don't show things from all these things that we've seen a bazillion times.
Yep, I'm tired of it.
So, yeah, I mean, I agree. Like Greg's prediction for E3 was that they just like drop the mic and say, "Last Guardian out digital right now in stores in 2 weeks," which would be pretty boss. I'd be excited.
Or release it there.
Yeah, because remember the last 2 years they've done that. Granted, but with like real small like $10, $15 indie games. Like Entwined came out last year.
Yeah.
They're just like, it's out now. Like right now. So
yeah, I liked Entwined.
I never played it. Was it any good?
It's very serene.
Okay. I'm down for serene games.
Yeah, it's a game that I play when if Destiny pisses me off. And because it's so calm and serene, the music is very therapeutic. It's a really calm game. I like it. You know, it's rhythm based, so it's almost like you play Race the Sky, Race the Sun.
No,
Race
I did
the
not.
Sun. Okay.
I've seen that they sort of look similar, right?
Yeah, so it's like a blend between that and oh man, it's like a rhythm music game that I can't remember the name that Tim loves. Tim from Kind of Funny. He loves it.
You know, I'm a weird person. I don't actually like Tim of Kind of Funny. He always rubs me the wrong way. I feel like he just like he doesn't know enough to be in the same league with Greg and Colin and even
I don't think
even
he's
Nick.
been around longer.
Yeah, I mean, I get that he's younger, but it's like, and that his area is like video stuff. You know, like when he talks TVs and movies, it's like, all right, I can feel you. But he starts talking about games, and he just like fucking. It's like I get that he's a gamer and he likes games, but he doesn't. He says wrong things, and like Greg and Colin constantly corrected him. And I'm just like I don't listen to Gamescast if he's in it. I'm just like I can't do it.
Right.
You know.
That's how. Well, I don't think Tim is that bad. You know, I think his strong suit is Nintendo, because when anything Nintendo talked about, he dives into that. But he's just a little, I guess, unorthodox in his style of games. You know, and there's a lot of.
I mean, I guess. I mean, it seems.
Hey, what's up, guys?
I mean, hey,
what's going on?
What's up?
Not too much.
Cool. You in your nook?
Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty. Me and Dame just been chatting. I'm gonna go straight to you, Mike. So I'm getting this sort of vague list together here for our sort of topics of shit.
Right on.
We're gonna do like you said in Skype a day or so ago, where we keep sort of like each area, like gaming, like all of our gaming stuff sort of in one area in the show. and move on to like a different topic and all that sort of shit. So I've got gaming down. I was going to talk about Mirror's Edge Catalyst. We wrote in for you. You're probably going to talk about Destiny. Is that what you want to? Is that what you want to talk about?
That might be a safe bet.
Okay, fair enough. And then Damien's, which is probably better than all of ours, is he wants to talk about E3 predictions and our halfway through 2016 Game of the Year votes. Which seems pretty solid to me. Lots of good talk in there, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to know what you guys are thinking about Destiny.
Yeah, and then sort of loose topic of life, I was going to talk about getting stabbed in the face and getting this head wound and bleeding everywhere. Just talk about it, I guess. And you guys wanted to talk about any sort of life things in there, that's cool. I sort of had a loose thing on TV. I'm in a bit of a show hole. I was going to ask you guys for recommendations, maybe talk about some stuff there.
Oh man, I'm still playing catch up on TV stuff. I will say I finished Jessica Jones and just about done with Daredevil.
I will say Game of Thrones.
Okay. We talk a little.
I need to catch up on Game of Thrones too. I'm like 2 seasons behind.
Oh man, it's pretty good this season. I'm all
caught amazing.
Up. I'm all caught up.
It's amazing. It's amazing this season. Yeah, for sure.
I'm quite happy they're off the books and they're just sort of burning through the story.
They're free-balling it now.
Yeah, it's good for the pace. Actually, the pace is picked up incredibly. Movies. I was going to talk about. I literally just saw 10 Cloverfield Lane last night, and it was fucking amazing. Just gonna bring that up. And then technology. I was going to talk about this. Any of you guys hear about or see this this film that had a script that was written by AI that was fed like 180 movies, and it popped out this script that's like super creepy but sort of makes sense, but it's like also like entirely autocorrect, and like these fucking indie film people like fucking filmed it, and it's pretty crazy.
That's like watching The Conjuring 2.
I guess I never saw the first one, so I don't know.
Oh man.
I'm supposed to go see The Conjuring 2 tomorrow.
Oh god damn it.
I thought they already made a Conjuring 2 and it was called Annabelle.
Well, Annabelle was the prequel following the doll from The Conjuring.
Right.
They have like unlimited movies because this couple literally has a room full of haunted shit that they can just go, what's the deal with that mask? All right, cool. We're gonna make that a movie. Like, it's fucking terrifying, dude. Like,
but it's like good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's good.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can talk about how much I liked X-Men Apocalypse more than I liked Civil War.
Oh,
but
you're an awful person.
That's what I was going for.
Apocalypse is such a letdown.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad.
I haven't seen it.
Well, if you're an X-Men fan, Damien, then I mean, I wouldn't get your hopes up. Just have no hopes going in, and then.
Yeah, I still haven't seen Days of Future Past.
Oh, you might want to see that one before this, since it picks up after. Just saying.
Yeah, I've seen glimpses of it, but I haven't seen it in full.
Well, if you do see Days of Future Past, try to see the Rogue cut. It's like the director's cut of it, because they cut Rogue literally out of the movie, and she's in it like 20 minutes. So
who's playing Rogue
now? Same chick, Anna Paquin.
Anna Paquin.
Oh wow! I'm about to say I know it can't be Anna Paquin. She's old as dirt.
No, she's not that old. She's she's probably barely 30.
The actress who plays Sansa Stark is playing Jean Grey.
Yeah.
So
I thought she did a good job. I didn't have a problem with her. I didn't have a problem with the casting of that film. I had a problem with the fucking mistreatment of the source material. And the fact that they retread X-Men 2 like plot for plot point with a different villain. Anyway, I could go on that, and we're probably not going to talk about that because that's totally like a Rising Tide thing to bitch about. Yeah. All right. So, any other topics you want me to like throw on this list here to sort of keep us on track, or
I guess for life, you guys want to talk about that gorilla thing that happened?
Gorilla thing?
You didn't hear? A 3-year-old baby fell into a gorilla enclosure, and the gorilla was just shit whipping it around, like holding on to its leg, just whipping it around. And instead of like tranking the gorilla, they killed it.
Jesus. Yeah. All right. Well, don't tell me too much about it because I want to know now. So just save it for the show.
I'll find the link so you can. I'll find the YouTube link so you can see it. That way, you know what I mean. You're not like, yeah, that sounds terrifying.
It does sound terrifying. It sounds so bad.
I mean, animals are terrifying, period. Like did you see the video of the lady who was sitting there doing like an interview for the news and a tiger just like crept up behind her? I mean, she was protected by glass, but the tiger was going to fuck her day up.
Jesus.
Listen, I am team people, all right?
I'm team
Fuck
people.
Animals. Fuck animals.
That's funny.
I like animals.
Yeah, I like animals too. Me and Dave were like, we like animals.
We like animals. The only thing I like going to the zoo is to see the tigers. The lions.
Yeah, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, like, if it was your baby who fell into the thing, you would have
If my
team
baby,
people.
he wouldn't fell in there.
Yeah, true.
That.
It's bad parenting all entirely in general, okay? But what I'm saying is, like, it needs to, team people, buddy. Team people, that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, look in the chat there, Mike. I have a slightly updated podcast art. I changed the fork and spruced up a couple other elements of there. Let me know if you like that better than the other fork that's really more like a trident because I suck.
Oh yeah, team people all day. You might change your tune when you see this shit. Is this the one with the baby getting shit whipped? No, that's a different one. That's a different one. That's the one when the baby was being held. I'm talking about. No.
Oh, he got that. Wow. This is probably the best setup of PlayStation Plus games I've seen this year.
What? This month?
2K16 and Gone Home.
I mean,
PlayStation Plus.
Oh yeah.
NBA doesn't really do anything for me, but I guess some people like it.
I like it.
I think I've heard it's a good game, but basketball don't interest me.
Yeah, I posted a video in chat, Tim, so you could take a look at it.
Okay. I think what we'll do with the video things is I think we'll just like play them in the show and talk about it live.
Yeah.
Because I used to do that in my first podcast, Kotakuite, and it was relatively entertaining, and then you could get a little more context of like what we're seeing, even though we're an audio show.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's basically share screens. Is that how that works on the whole computer deal, or you got that on your side?
I usually just play the thing and record the thing. I never even thought about sharing a screen. Is that a thing you can do on Skype?
I mean, I don't know. Let me see. Share screens. Let me see what that looks like. Oh, okay. If I had like okay, I can see how that works. If I had a screen on my thing, I could share like a screen cap of it. So basically, like what I just did, we can watch the video that's in the chat right now.
Yeah, but when I click on it, it just goes to the website.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what I mean.
Well, okay.
This is the thing that I wanna talk about. God damn it! Why didn't that? Oh no, it did show up as a thing. Okay. It's fucking crazy.
How short is this? How terrifying is it? Is a better
It's
okay.
it's low budget, and by low
it's
budget I
9
mean there's
minutes.
no budget. It's just people talking basically, and some set work. But it's fucking crazy because they fed like all these screenplays into this machine, and it came up with this script, and then they're just like, "Fuck it, we're gonna shoot it." Insane. Alrighty, I've got.
Fuck me, I'm just watching a little bit of it. God damn, it's terrifying.
Well, we'll talk about it live on the show.
Yeah.
So in terms of sequence, what do we want to do? Do we want to do the gaming segment first? Do we want to do it last? Do you want to talk about life stuff first? TVs, movies first? Technology first? What do you think the sequence should be, guys?
Oh, man. If it's a mashup about everything, it should just be organic.
Yeah, just let it go.
It should be organic. It really should, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, we have to start somewhere.
I guess games first, right? I mean,
starting games. Okay.
We're all gamers, then TV, movies, and then just go on whatever you want.
Fair enough.
Like I said, I gotta be out of here by 10:45. That's all I'm saying.
How much? It's 6:14 here. So how much time is that?
Hour and a half, hour and 45 max.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fine for a pilot.
Okay.
All right. Well, let me see. Let me type something here.
Tim, when you said that 2-hour podcast and over is a bitch to do, you're right. It's a bitch to do.
I told you. Nobody believes me until you actually do your own podcast.
Fuck, man, it's a bitch.
Now you know what I go through every week. I just have better editing tools than you.
Yeah.
Welcome to my pain.
Yeah, I might have to go get what do you use, GarageBand?
Yeah, that's a great place to start since it's free.
Oh wow, you got that.
Yeah, just get a cheap Mac, man.
Yeah, I mean we just have a Dell right now, so that's just what I'm using.
Yeah, a friend of mine is gonna start a D&D podcast thing.
Oh, fantastic!
And actually, I'm supposed to be sitting in on their thing. I don't play D&D, but I'm sitting in on it to see how they're gonna do it tomorrow night, actually. And he was looking to do it on Windows and stuff, and he was looking at how fucking complicated it was going to be to do it on Windows. And then I was like, no, you can do this for under $1,000 with a cheap Mac and some cheap mics. Mm-hmm. And he looked at that and he's like, yeah, I'm going to do it that way because fuck Windows.
Yeah,
which is
much,
ironic
right?
Because he's PC master race, but not when it comes to audio, man.
I don't care. This shit was free.
Fair enough. I mean, I've used Audacity too, man. So it's
I'm
not
talking about the laptop. The laptop was free.
Oh, whatever works, man.
I was like, hey man, I got this Alienware. Do you want this one? I'm like, does a one-legged duck swim in circles?
Oh shit! You got a free Alienware? That's not shabby at all.
No, my friend got the Alienware, but he had the Dell.
I got you.
And I was like, okay, done. Give it to me. You can have that one that glows in the dark and touches you and shit. Go ahead.
Touches you and shit.
We're gonna do it just like the old days. Tim, you started off. Dave,
yeah,
you go, and then I go last.
I'm literally writing a thing, and since it's our pilot and it's gonna be all new kids, we should do introductions, and then we should tell the listeners, not necessarily like a gaming background or anything like that, but just sort of our background on the internet in general. Obviously I'll be like, yo, I'm Tim K.A. Trotter, Dynamic Works, all the shit that I spout every goddamn week. And then, Damian could probably say, he works in music production stuff, and he's been on, at this point, multiple podcasts.
Yep.
Yeah,
from Gamer Nation to
cute.
my shit to Agents of the Nine and all that sort of jazz. And then obviously you can say your stuff. You came from Agents of the Nine, and you're doing your own show now too,
and I did the Rising Tide.
Yeah, and I'll bring that up in there as well.
Yeah. All right, that's cool with me.
Okay, so introductions, then topics.
Do you just want to take all the topics, Tim, and just say them, or do you want us to take our own topic and bring it kind of like Game Over Greggy does?
I mean,
I hate to use Game Over Greggy as the
that's fine.
Example,
if we can be Game Over Greggy, I'm fucking totally happy with that. To be honest,
yeah.
Because I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the podcasts that I've done, but they've always been tied to something, and even Rising Tide, I love Rising Tide, and I'm still doing Rising Tide. Like, some days I'm not in a Marvel mood,
Yeah.
All right, so this is what I wrote down just now. I mean, you can scroll through that. I don't have things for everybody, but that's what I've just been jabbing over here in the side column here.
Destiny, probably. Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
TV. Yeah, because Tim, for the TV, Dave and I can just fire off ideas for that one for you.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And yeah, and then we can just comment on the movies.
Yep.
Yeah, that seems good. I just did the Destiny podcast earlier today, so I'm ready to go. I got everything to talk about Destiny. I just want to hear you guys talk about it because you know what I mean. Like you were the beginning of my whole Destiny podcasting career, and I'm like, I just want to hear what these guys have to say about it.
Yeah, especially since me and Dame are probably real critical about everything.
Yeah.
All right.
It'll be good.
Alrighty. I've had like 6 hours of caffeine in me. And
it's a good idea. Let me get a caffeine beverage real quick.
Yeah.
Caffeine
you ready, Dame?
Yeah.
Cool. You gonna turn down your TV and whatnot there, Dame?
Yeah, hold on.
I forgot I get parched doing this shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's weird because you don't really think about like drinking when you're talking to somebody in real life, but in a podcast, for some reason, talking about it, like just being in that zone.
Yeah. I would never just be sitting on a table talking to you guys and just grabbing a drink and drinking as we're having, like, you know what I mean?
I wouldn't want
doing it.
I wouldn't want you sitting on the table. That seems like Mike's RNG erotica. No. Weird images, bro.
Turn to page 12 and you'll figure out what the fuck's going on.
Oh my!
You know how hard it is for me not to cuss on my podcast? So
why
hard.
don't you just cuss? Who gives a fuck?
It's just something we haven't done, man. I don't know.
You could always do what I did in my old shows. Is I would bleep out the cussing.
Yeah, that requires a lot more work.
You're right. It does.
I'm not being lazy, but fuck it, I'm being lazy. I mean, occasionally they slip out, but it's not like how we freeform and just go.
Yeah.
All right. Whenever you're ready, guys.
I think Dame went to turn his TV down. Unless he's back. Is he back, Dame?
Yep.
Oh, you're back?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. All right, let's do a mic test. We'll start ironically with Mike. Give me some loud speaking and some quiet speaking, Mike.
The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
All right.
Brown fox.
The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
Okay, that sounds good to me. All right, Damian.
Testing. How do I sound?
You're nice and clear, but you're pretty quiet. What can you do about that? And you were not quiet earlier, by the way.
No, not at all. Super loud.
I was speaking over the volume on television.
What are you using right now? A headset mic? What are you using?
Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll be ready for when showtime. Once you hit the record button, nice and loud.
Okay. Well, we're doing a test, so I just wanted to make sure, since it's our pilot, and I want to put our best foot forward, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
So, can you give me some?
Yep. How about that?
Jesus damn. Blow my ears into my face.
That redlined my
Yeah.
my recording my software. It was like, "Do you want to record this?" And I watched it go red. I was like, "Nope, nope."
Oh, Dame just took down 2 different computers across the country.
Yeah.
All right, fine. I'll trust you, Dame. This ain't your first rodeo. All righty. Everything is good on my end, and we've been rolling for the last 40 minutes, actually. So here we go. Cut! Cut? Did we lose Dame? Is Dame here? What happened?
I think you muted us.
I meant to hit the mute button. I accidentally hung up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Side note, Tim, did you see how fast my podcasting instincts kicked on? Just talk.
Yeah,
just
thank you.
Talk,
thank
Mike.
you.
No dead air. Just talk. Say something. Doesn't matter if you make sense or not. Just say something.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate, especially since you were the one talking.
Getting the instincts up, buddy. Getting the instincts.
Yeah, no. You're a natural podcaster. So we're all good, Dame?
Yeah, I accidentally hung up on that.
All right, no worries. All right. I hope you remember what the fuck you were saying, Mike. Cut back in. Hold on for a second. I want to cut. Nothing wrong with anything anybody's saying, but I just want to sort of since this is like a new show and it's potentially broad, and it sounds probably really shitty what I'm about to say, but can we because our potential audience could not be gamers, so like at least for a little while we're still sort of birthing this show, first couple episodes, let's sort of like be a little more like maybe explain like who the fuck Kojima is, because it's like you could probably say Activision and stuff, but it's like, and like I wanted to jump in and help like explain, but I also didn't want to cut you off either and be like rude and shit. So
like gaming for dummies type shit. Is that what?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I won't want that to be the entirety of the show, but like at the very least for like our first couple episodes, I want to just keep that sort of incline so that we can sort of see what's going to happen with any potential listeners. You know what I mean?
Right.
No offense, Dame.
I think Kojima's a big enough name. People tie him to Metal Gear Solid. Even if you don't play Metal Gear Solid, that's a big name, though.
Potentially.
I think it's a big name.
It's definitely, of the names that are big in the gaming industry, it's definitely one of the ones, but...
Right. Now, if we would say like... well, no, I can't even say Troy Baker. We say Troy Baker, then yeah. Troy Baker's known big in the gaming industry, but outside looking in, no one knows who the hell Troy Baker is,
Well, and like, what if I dropped like Shinji Mikami? Like, do you guys know who that is?
Now that would have to be explained.
Okay.
That would have to be from the outside looking in. No one, right?
Creator of Resident Evil. Okay, cool. So I wanna cut in, and we'll just like quickly. Like, I guess what I'm trying to prevent is like I'm more than willing to like explain things that like I feel like might be over people's heads. I just don't want to like create a thing that puts forward where it's like I'm cutting off you guys at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm creating super awkward air right now. Are you guys all cool?
No, yeah. 100% I'm with you. Like we're not, when we did the Agents of the Nine, we were for a video game that video gamers will know. This might be, random people coming and they have no, Kojima, everybody knows. Mostly everybody would know who Kojima is. But yeah, like when I do my E3 prediction, I'll explain a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
But I get what you mean.
All right. Well, let's pick it back up. You just finished talking about Kojima.
Well, I was in the middle of VR. and how long they were going to spend on it.
Were you?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh shit! Yeah. I don't even remember that. I just remember Kojima. Maybe I was stuck on that thinking about. Anyway, all right. Well, let's cut in then. Cut in. Oh, hold on. You gotta go right now, Mike.
Yeah, I gotta go. Real life is calling. I guess you want me just to sign out, or you want to do it?
Well, I mean, we don't really have anything much else to talk about. I mean, that's what I want to talk about. Yeah, we could talk about TVs or movies, but we don't have to. We could just close out the show.
I mean, it's up to you guys entirely.
What do you want to do, Dame?
Doesn't matter. You know, Mike has to go. Then.
We could save it for episode official 1, I guess. The TVs and movies talk. We can do that.
Yeah, or whatever happens next week or whatever. That's fine with me. I mean, we don't have to cover everything. I think we covered quite enough stuff. Actually, let's just close out the show.
Sure.
All right, cool. Cut in if you didn't already cut before that, Tim. So cut now. That last shit that we just said.
It worked.
Alrighty. Well, I have apparently a lot of editing to do on this show.
Oh yeah.
That's okay. It's the pilot. I've got some time. I've still got to fucking clean up the logo and get all the music shit in and stuff. Thank you much for your time, guys.
Not a problem.
Sorry you had to go, Mike. What are we looking at for like a usual recording time for this in the coming weeks, guys?
I mean, Saturdays are fine after 3 my time.
Well, no, this weekend we're coming up. I'm out of town, so I won't be able to do anything this weekend.
Okay, that's fine. Well, then I'll coordinate with Nate, since Nate was supposed to be here anyway, but he had that wife emergency, which I totally understand.
Yeah, I mean, I can. Like I said, Saturdays are the days I'm dedicating to the podcasts.
Okay.
So, Saturday after 3:30 my time, so like 12:30 your time, whatever's good for you. A little later, like the more we push it back towards when we started the night, the more crunch for time will be. Because I mean, we are kind of long-winded a little bit, so.
Oh, what do you mean? The way we talk?
Yeah.
Well, and it's a brand new show, and we're doing something totally weird and not super structured. So we just gotta. I mean, we'll get better as time goes on.
Yeah. I mean, you want to keep it under 2 hours, so that's
I definitely don't want a ridiculous.
I know.
Podcast. I don't want it super long.
I just edited a 2-hour podcast myself, and it's fucking a beast.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So,
well, already. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll keep you posted on when the shit actually goes live and stuff.
Are you gonna put us on Stitcher and all that too?
This is gonna go into the same feed as Agents of the Nine, and like the name and the logo and all the shit on Agents of the Nine is gonna change. So those episodes are gonna remain like in the whatever people subscribe to. And then this will just start showing up, and the image will change, and all the data of it will change.
Okay.
That's what's going to happen.
So you're editing the RSS feed.
I mean,
the master RSS feed.
I'm not. I'm doing the thing on Libsyn that then edits all of the shit.
I know.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what I did for Agents of the Nine, because it used to be before that it was the DWP uplink, and before that it was Wizard's Rule. So
okay, that's
the plan.
Cool, man.
Also, that means anybody who is listening to Agents of the Nine will get fork in your ear randomly, and they, what the fuck is this shit?
And then maybe they'll listen to it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I it's not an intentional scummy thing. It's just economics. Alrighty, thanks, guys.
No problem. Catch you guys later.
Peace out, Mike.
Peace.
Yo.
Alrighty, Dame, you gone?
Yeah, probably. What time is it?
It's probably super late for you, man.
It's about 11 o'clock, so yeah, I'll probably stay up for a little hour, play a little some GTA or something, or probably watch that.
Since I'm here and I'm probably gonna edit the thing, did you want me to share play Mirror's Edge to you, and you could check it out?
Yeah, that's cool.
So you want to do that?
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, cool. I'll boot up my PS4 and I'll hit you up on there. Okay.
All right, that's cool.
Sweet. See you in a sec.